Hey, Dan, how are you, mate? Welcome.
Hello. I'm alright.
You're back again.
Back again.
Yeah, you had a week off, still had 3 weeks off so far. And here you are back for episode 8.
Yeah. Woo. Brought me back. I can't believe it.
Yeah, woo!
Thought I talked enough 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're alright. Yeah, we got some normal news topics I reckon we can chat about. This episode, I'm really going to try and stop saying yeah as much when someone's talking.
It's a great idea.
I listened back to the podcast and I realised that I say yeah a lot when people don't need to hear my response. And they also don't need to hear as much as me butting in with my own opinions sometimes. So
you wouldn't want them to forget that you're here.
No, they're quite happy. I'm quite happy if they forget that I'm here, but myself anyway, that's my own personal thing that I'm gonna work on, is to stop butting in on my co-host, whoever that may be, which today is you, as well as stopping going yeah in acceptance of the point that you're making, which is
well, no, it's very encouraging. But
well,
you know what?
It's normal conversation style, but to me, it just stands out. Like, everyone hates themselves being recorded and listening back to it, and I have to do it because I've got to edit it and stuff.
Well, I refuse to listen to myself again, so I don't know what I did wrong. But you know what?
You spoke most eloquently.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You know what cutting people off is a symptom of, don't you?
ADHD. Yeah, because I already know the story. You reckon that's bad? You listen to Matt Wolf, who we had on last episode, and he says my stuff as you're saying it. He doesn't even just think it, he says it.
Yeah. Finishes your sentences.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, now I need to talk faster. That bastard's stealing all my words.
I don't want people to forget I'm here.
Oh, shit. Anyway, before we get too far into it, man, shout out to our sponsors.
We're not very far into it.
We're not. We're 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So if you're up to that, well done. Thank you for hanging around. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors: Bintani, Craft Punks Canning, Convoy Kegs, Runnings Labels and Stickers, and of course,
Hiker Brewing?
Hiker Brewing Concern.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, that's what that's where we are at. That's where we get the beer. That's where we come and enjoy ourselves on the afternoon. Mate, we are drinking from Joel's and my recent trip down the Northern Rivers of New South Wales, which is in Queensland, this beer and brewery, actually.
Oh, is it just in Queensland? Yeah, right.
Or is it not?
I don't know.
I wonder. Let's see the cavalry to the can. It'll tell us on the can. New South Wales. It's in Coogin, New South Wales.
There you go.
Earth Brewing.
How embarrassing.
Oh, it's not. I'm not embarrassed. For me, it was a trip. It was an ABV trip. I got no idea what state I was in.
Or what day it was.
How many borders I went across there. I got no idea. Earth Brewing. We're drinking the Aurora Pacific IPA, which is a West Coast IPA, using all Aussie hops.
It is delicious. It's really good.
Yeah, it's real good, isn't it?
Nice and fresh. Good amount of bitterness. And yeah, I think often Aussie hops can be really hard to dry hop with, particularly just because they're so high in alpha acids. Like, you get that bitterness, that hop burn a lot more easily, I find.
Yep.
But yeah, this is so smooth, so good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It was actually a really good trip there. If anyone's going down there, Zeke, I'm sure, isn't manning the bar every day, so probably don't ask for him, but tell him I said g'day if he is there, because guys are legends down there, and I really enjoyed that visit. That was great on our way back, and yeah. Anyway, moving on. Oh, before we get started, before we get too into it, I've got those things. I didn't talk about it. I was using the Suno app, the AI app, to make a Pour It Out jingle. So what I've done, I've created about 10 jingles.
Nice.
So what I'm going to do with those 10 jingles...
Now we're going to listen to all of them.
We're not going to listen to all of them. No, I'm not going to listen to all of them now, but I might put them at the end of the podcast in order. And I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4 to whatever, however many I've chosen. And then I'm going to put a poll up on our website. And actually, I'll do it on the Facebook members page on our group, ABV group chat. Go in there and people can vote for which one should be the thing. People may not even fucking vote, but it's not me singing. No, it's not me singing.
People might listen now.
They might listen now. can sing, damn it. Maybe I should have put that in. No, anyway. But, yeah, so we're going to put that on and people can vote and see which one they like. There's a whole bunch of cool stylings that I did. I thought it was pretty funny. And there's a whole bunch in there where they talk about, for me, one of the best ones, where it says Hiker Brewing is where we go. And it's right on beat, perfect, and it just sounds really good. But I'll let people be the judge. So
Nice.
yeah, jump onto the ABV group chat. You can hear them all at the end of this episode if you want to scroll up to the end. So moving on. The first cab off the rank, mate. Aussie Beer Voyage at the AIBAs. Now, the reason that you couldn't be here joining us while Phil was away last week is because you were at the AIBAs judging the beers.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was good. Yeah. Flew down Monday arvo, had a welcome briefing Monday night, and then 3 days of judging, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, it was really good. It's always nice to catch up with people you haven't seen for a while, and also meet new people. Met a few judges that were judging at AIBAs for the first time from overseas, like one from Germany, one from India.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, and had a good chat to them
beer
about.
scene in India's taken off, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had a good chat to both of them about what it was like back home, and like the people and the networking is always really nice. But obviously, you spend most of the time tasting beers.
Yeah.
So it was a new record number of entries this year again, which is impressive considering the industry and the economy right now. Just shy of 2,500 beers.
How many did you send down?
We sent 4 beers, 5 entries.
Yep.
So one of the beers was draft and pack.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I think we sent down 7, 7 or 8. It'd be something like that. It wasn't a lot either.
Nice.
We shared a pallet.
We did, didn't we? That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever you sent down, and then we sent down the balance to fill a pallet. So yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so you didn't get to judge any of the media contingent.
No.
I'm assuming.
No. I have read about who that gets judged by, but I can't remember.
Yeah. So Joel and I submitted.
I know that Mick Wust is involved because he won last year.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he judges it alone or if there's other people involved as well. Probably the latter.
Yeah.
But I know...
I doubt it would just be one judge.
Yeah, no, I doubt it too. But yeah, I know that Mick was sent a bunch of pieces of media to look over and judge because...
Like if it's... Like I get if it's... I would like to know how they sort of judge it. Like I get... from looking at a lot of the exhibits from last year, because when Joel and I entered, we weren't sure what you had to do. We just said, we want to enter this. How do we do it? And there's a lot of the media contingent is print, and by print I mean online as well as print. It's like news articles and stuff like that.
Written words and
stuff. But I have seen that Matt Kierkegaard has won, but I'm not sure if that's for written articles online that people have read. And then we entered and we've submitted videos.
Yeah.
Our links to our website with our video that people can go and watch. And some of them are, 30, 45 minutes long. And I wonder if those poor judges are like, oh shit.
Sorry, mate.
They've had to watch it all and to judge it on that. And I don't know. Like, I had no idea whether that's good for us, good for them, whether that was a positive or a negative. And it's funny, like...
I just said, sorry.
The thing for me, what I'm finding funny is, so we're going down to the awards. We're really excited. Joel and I are both flying down on Thursday. And what I find funny is we're sitting at Hendo's table. So if you're looking for the ball noggin and you see it shining like a disco ball, we're at that table. And so we're at Hendo's table, but the thing that I'm looking forward to is just being there, and as you said, you meeting a whole bunch of people that I haven't met before, catching up with some people who I haven't seen. James from Esker Brewing, Max from Filter. I'm really keen to catch up with those boys. But Joel, on the other hand, I keep saying to Joel, I'm like, man, don't count your chickens. Like, you know, let's just go. We're just enjoying the night. Like, and Joel's more, out of both of us, he's way more the pessimistic one. He's more the one who's the realist, and he's down to earth, and he's like, he works all the shit out. He's like the yin to my yang.
Yeah.
Not for these awards. He's got it in his head.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, we're winning. I'm like, oh, man, we're not winning at all. Like, I'm way more on the camp of we don't even have a chance. I'm like, we're not going to even fucking win. I'm just happy to go to the event and have a good time and catch up with people. And Joel's like, I said, don't count your chickens, man. And he goes, I've counted all the chickens.
There's so many chickens.
And I was like, man, if you lift yourself up too high, that fall's going to just go and enjoy yourself, man. Just meet some people, say who you are, whatever. But, man, I can't wait to see Joel's face just when he walks into the room and just has such a good time and wearing his James Bond suit. I've seen a photo of him in his suit. He took a photo of, and whereas me, I look like Pete Hellier.
He does. He really does.
Yeah. So I hope Pete's not at the awards because people will be like, how's he?
That's...
People might be coming up to me going, Pete, great to see you here.
That's probably more likely.
I couldn't lose weight in time. Anyway.
It's funny, like, I think I'm similar to Joel. Like, I'm quite pessimistic and realistic. I get that from my dad. But yeah, when it comes to competitions, beer competitions, I don't know. I get in my own head, and I can't help but think that I've got a chance, and then
get excited.
I get excited, but
you're from, you're 17 entries in Queensland, 2 in the Korea, and 1 in World Beer Cup. The only one you didn't get a medal for was World Beer Cup.
Well, yeah.
I mean, your strike rate's been pretty good so far this year.
True. But it hasn't always been that way. And
no.
I've always, it's funny, like, each competition I've entered, my expectations have been lower and lower and lower because I'm learning not to have expectations and not to get disappointed. Because my first couple, I was so disappointed. I was so upset.
Did you take it as a personal affront?
Yeah.
Not personal as in the judges know who you are.
Oh, no.
Not giving you the beer, but you're like going,
yeah, I think I did.
Shit.
I think I did. Even though I probably shouldn't have, because there's so many variables, obviously.
Oh, yeah, there's a million, eh?
But it's funny that my results have gotten better as my expectations have gotten lower. But yeah, Joel, if you're listening, I don't know if you listen to this podcast.
I don't know if he does.
It probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Just, you're not winning anything, mate. Don't go into it thinking you're winning anything.
Yeah.
Just assume that you're not and have a great night. That's my advice.
That is 100% what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. I just want to go there, and I want to make people who have been, they're my idols, but people who in the industry, you read about them, you see them, you know who they are in the industry. I might know them, like I might not know their faces, and they might know me, and that's what I'm more nervous about, is because I do this. And shit, people might know who I am.
You're pretty famous.
I am. Just come up and ask for an autograph. I'll sign it. But I don't like being nervous and not remembering someone's name.
Yeah.
And I do want to be able to give that back. I hate it when people come up and go, Adzi, and I'm like, hey, you?
It's hard enough when you're sober.
Mate, I'm not going to be sober.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Second thing today, which I'm pretty excited about as well, to some degree, is the Aussie Beer Voyage and the Brew Baron Beer Co.'s collab, the Ukrainian Golden Ale, which Matty Wolf from the Brew Baron Beer Co., he is brewing it for us, but the brew day is on Saturday. That's this Saturday.
This Saturday.
When we fly back on the Friday, after the AIBAs. Oh man, this week is huge. Like tomorrow I've got an Oatly Wines tasting event to go to taste some wines. And you go to a wine tasting and you go somewhere afterwards, right? And I'm got to get up at 4 to pick Joel up to go to the airport, and I'm probably going to get an Uber, even though we've paid for parking. Oh man. So at the AIBAs, if I'm walking around a little bit slow and stunted, it's because I've got a wine hangover and I'm trying to enjoy beer. Oh, dude. But yeah, so the
Ukrainian Golden Ale Brew Day. So we've got a whole bunch of people who came onto the group, said that they want to come and be involved. I think there's 4 people there. They all get a ticket to Gabs as well. Matt's given them a ticket as well.
Nice.
And we're brewing this Ukrainian Golden Ale, which we don't really know, if we're brewing it correctly or how it's going to turn out. But we're really looking forward to it. I'm really excited to try and taste this style of beer and see how it goes with the coriander.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Exciting.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
With that, and we've got a decal that's coming. You can taste it at Gabs, but I do want to. Haven't worked it out yet. I do want to do a competition to see whether or not I can give some people some tasters at the Brew Bar and Beer Cafe after Gabs as well, that they can taste it. But we're launching it at Gabs. You can't get it beforehand. So
nice. Great idea. What time does Brew Day kick off?
I don't know. Matt hasn't told me, but I'm assuming it's normal brew day.
Sounds like
8
I
o'clock,
need to message Matt
or something. Yeah, just come along, mate.
Might pop in.
Yeah, just pop in.
I've got to work, but not that early.
You don't open until 11?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why do I know your opening hours?
Oh, we actually open at 12, but it's
is
11.
Okay,
it's 11 for you, Adzi.
It's 11 for me. Brilliant. Oh, shit. Do you want to bring up... No, well, there's no reason that you need to bring up the next one. Sorry,
I can bring up the next one.
You can bring up the next one. It's a bit more of a somber topic.
It is a bit sad,
We've had some fun, but now we need to talk about some...
Yeah, I caught it last week while I was judging. Went for a lunch break and this popped up in my feed. Black Ops are pretty close to looking at liquidation, apparently. Says they have 3 buyers that have been shortlisted, but obviously if no one actually buys it, then it's liquidation time. So
what do you reckon? Because you and I aren't on the ends, we don't know. Do you think someone's sitting in the sidelines and waiting for them to liquidate so they don't need to buy the asset of the brand as the company and they can just buy the venue with the equipment and move forward?
Yeah. I think a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
Like, to be perfectly
We can say
honest,
because we don't know.
To be perfectly honest, we were doing that when it came to ballistic. We contacted the administrators straight away and went,
what have we got?
If it comes to it, can we buy this, and this, and this? So yeah, of course, there's going to be people doing that. But I guess the question is, are there people that are willing to pay for the brand and the company as well? Or
it would be sad to see Black Ops disappear as a brand entirely.
Yeah, it would.
For a lot of us here, especially in like Southeast Queensland, like Black Ops has been a huge influence to a lot of us.
Yep.
In drinking great beers, in tasting those sort of beers, like the efforts that they put into the industry and what they sort of did. It would be really hard to have a life without Black Ops as a beer brand.
Yeah, very weird.
I think, but if they don't, and the brand does close and the brewer and equipment gets sold, who do you reckon? Like, have you got any? I got a pick. I reckon there's someone.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of rumours going around, and I think it's just, I mean, it's pretty hard to think of many brewing companies that have the money to buy something like that at the moment. Yeah. So the list is pretty small to begin with. Like, I guess you've got hotel groups potentially.
Yep.
I mean, we're probably discounting CUB or Lion.
Oh, I don't think
because
they're
I think
in it at all.
They've been offloading breweries and making stuff redundant rather than buying more.
Yep.
So I think it's either got to be a hotel group or a brewing company that's big and going well and has some money.
Or someone I think that's definitely on that path of trajectory that is looking to expand their equipment side.
Yeah.
They might only want to take like BH2, for example, with all of that capabilities. For me, if I was going to throw a name out, I reckon Good Drinks, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've got Matzo's here in New Mundy. They don't have any brewing equipment there, do they?
They have some equipment, but as far as I know, they're only producing RTDs up there. So
yeah.
I think, I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to have a nice big production facility for beer over on the East Coast because, I mean, shipping must be killing them. Yeah. Not killing them, but...
Yeah, but it'd also give them a lot more exposure too. If you've got a venue, especially on the Gold Coast where the BHs are, And then it depends, I guess, as well as what happens to the other satellite ones, because BH2 is the main one.
Yeah.
The HQ, you know, it's the home of Black Ops, but it's small compared to BH2.
Yeah.
And Black Ops Brisbane hasn't been open since they went into VA, so
Well, that's the
due
other
to a
question.
lease with a different company. It was a company thing,
Yeah,
and
something
they couldn't
weird
stay
on the
over.
lease. Yeah.
Which was unfortunate because freaking Black Ops Brisbane would be cranking with all the AFL games and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the other question when it comes to, you know, sale or liquidation.
Yeah.
Does someone want to buy all of the venues in one go? Because if so, obviously
that'd
they'll
be fantastic.
put in an offer.
Yep.
Like, say, Good Drinks. Do they want just a big production facility that can service the East Coast, or do they want BH1, BH2, BH3, and I guess the Sunny Coast one that's in development as well? Obviously, more venues is good for margin, but maybe that's not their focus.
Well, we just saw Deeds go under
Yes.
because they couldn't keep going, and there's that's not a small venue. That's on the East Coast.
They do a lot of distro though.
Yeah, they do.
Like, I've never been to the venue, so I can't really comment. But they're in most bottle shops that stock good craft.
Yep.
So they've really been pushing that. But
I think at the moment that's the killer. Is
Absolutely.
if you have been focusing massively on your distro, and you've expected that, and you had your 10 pallets a month that have dropped down to 2, like 80% of that side of the business is gone. That's a chunk, right? Like, that's a massive chunk.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a chunk of your profit, but it's a chunk of your volume.
Yeah.
And if you're not sweating the asset in terms of brewing beer, overheads start to become pretty big compared to what you're making.
Yeah, I hope Black Ops pulls through as a brand, but you know, we don't know. The next financial meeting's tomorrow.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Our friends over on the Boss and the Brewer podcast, Hendo and Dan Norris, last week they didn't do an episode just with the announcement of Black Ops and whatnot and all of that news that was coming out. It was easier for them to just take a time out and let them have some space, because there'd obviously be too much conjecture and whatnot going around for them. So shout out to everyone involved with Black Ops in any respect, like the alpha investors, the people who are working there now, the people who are trying to keep this brand going or not, whatever's happening.
It affects a lot of people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like, last comment on this one, sorry, but it's crazy how we're starting to get the really high profile breweries now. Like, obviously they've all got issues with their business in some
that's
way
the
or
distro
another.
thing, though.
It probably is the distro thing. The more distro you have, the more profile you have.
Because Akasha has just come out, so they announced this week they've come out of VA. So,
but in terms of quality of beer, I'm talking like I know. Obviously you're going to have more reputation the more you distribute, but like Deeds is one of those hype breweries that makes amazing hazies and imperial stouts, and everyone froths over them, and people are willing to spend $45 a can for, you know, into the fray or whatever it is.
Great beer though.
Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Same.
But like, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I guess there's always other stuff going on. So that's a big blow for the view that the public has of the industry, I think, because it's a brand that a lot of people have loved. Same with Black Ops, right?
Yep.
Have loved for a lot of years, and it's got a really good reputation for great beers, and all of a sudden they're out of business, like Deeds. Yep. And I think, the public
and not only that, I think too, what a lot of people forget too, when a beer brand is gone, it makes it harder for all of us, because it's not that there's a gap to fill. There's a lot of beer that Deeds are hanging on to, and that now they're selling out. They're cheap to get out on the market, so they can exit the market with as less debt as possible. And those beers are good beers. So everyone's buying them because Deed's putting them on sale, 30% off.
Yeah.
Pushing them out there. Like even Matt last week, he was like going, oh yeah, I might jump on to my rep and buy 1 or 2 kegs to put through the bar.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of cheaper beer out on the market, which then people think, oh, that's the norm. Like, this is what beer costs if you don't know.
True.
And then we're trying to sell beer into the market, and you know, I've already seen it in some fridges with a whole bunch of bottle shops with black hops on a lot more shelves. There's a lot more black hops on a shelf at a cheaper price, and they're obviously just trying to get their money back, claw everything they can, because why wouldn't you? That's your right. But at the same time, all of us trying to get a shelf makes it harder. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, 100%.
That you're fighting.
Yeah. Fun times.
Yeah. Not much more to say on that. It's, there's not even a good segue to go into the next topic. Do you follow AFL?
I do not. I grew up in Townsville. So,
yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. NRL, sure.
Yeah. I don't follow AFL at all. But I do think that this is a great story with White Bay's capital raise and Sydney Swans partnership with the Swannies.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, it was good.
They're not a small team.
Yeah, well, no,
like,
exactly.
They are a huge football team.
They are a small brewery.
Yes.
Even though, you know, they've got a reputation for amazing beers, and they do a fair bit of distro, they're still, I mean, yeah, name me a White Bay beer you've had that wasn't good. Even though they have got a reputation, they're still not a big brewery in terms of production.
Well, you don't see a lot of them up here.
No.
You've got to go hunting for it.
Only in the really, like, good, small, independent bottlers, for sure. I think it was good as soon as we started getting the breweries bought by CUB and Lion, and then we had Pacific Ale, and we had Four Pines, and we had Pirate Life at sports games. I mean, even that was a win. Yeah. But now breweries like White Bay are signing deals to be the official beer of the sports team. Like, this is amazing. Yep. Love it.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and I think it's going to be the start of something. Like, I think sports teams want to show that they're supporting the people who support the community, because craft breweries are community based.
Yeah.
And sports teams don't succeed without community. That's just a known fact. Like, they're built from the grassroots. Their juniors are coming through at all levels. There's feeder clubs all around them that build into, and that's where they get their players from. That they go through generations. And I mean, people might not be a fan of White Bay, and people might not be a fan of the Sydney Swans. That doesn't matter. If you're a fan of either, this is going to resonate with you, and you're going to want to enjoy this beer when you're at the game. You're going to give it a crack anyway, I reckon. I mean, that honeymoon period's always going to be great. People will give it a crack, but the fact that they've got a partnership with the Swannies, it's an authorised partnership, that's huge.
Yeah, I think it's a good move on both parts, right? Obviously, it's great for White Bay, no doubt about that. But I think in terms of the Swans, like, you know, making Carlton their beer of the Swans for the next year probably isn't going to get them a whole lot of new fans or new members, really. And this may not get them heaps either, but there will be some people who just like froth White Bay who are now like, oh yeah, I might go and see a Swans game and drink some White Bay, you know? And obviously it'll be the other way around as well. A lot of people will probably hear about White Bay for the first time.
How much do you reckon the head brewer's gone, we're going to do what?
Yeah. How much extra beer do I have to make?
Turn around looking at his tanks like, fuck me.
Yeah, probably. I don't actually know how much their capacity is. It mustn't be too bad, but it's definitely going to be a spike in volume, I'd say.
Yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be really cool, and I think too is that the thing that I enjoy about it most is that it is both ways. It's not just White Bay have done this thing, and the Sydney Swans are like going quiet about it.
Yeah,
they've come back out and they're like going, we're really excited. This is going to be amazing. We're looking forward to it. This is going to be a really good goal that we're going to move forward with. I think it's great, and it's great for our industry. It's great for the guys at White Bay. We're going to Melbourne. We're not going to Sydney, but hopefully there's some White Bays down there that we can nab. And
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good to see big corporations supporting the local guys when they're obviously normally quite money driven. Yeah, it's really good.
Nice. Okay, well, we're back. We just had a quick break. I need to go to the loo, and you needed to serve some customers, so it's good. We've got to... that would have been a great record. So, tell the people, what are we drinking this time, mate?
Oh, we've got another Earth beer, actually, from Earth Brewing Company in New South Wales.
Yeah, which we found out earlier.
This is their...
I swear it was in Queensland.
I mean, it's close enough.
Yeah.
This is their Fruit Tree Hazy IPA, sitting at 6%. Just lots of fruit, apparently,
beer.
is what it says on the tin.
Yep.
So, what do you reckon? Should we have a sip?
Yeah, I think we should.
Be rude not to.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yep. That's very good.
Fan of that one.
Not too sweet. Lots of fruit. Smooth. No bitterness. Very low, anyway.
Yeah. Reminds me of an old Jedi juice from the look of it.
Good old Jedi juice.
Jedi juice. Yeah, it's great beer. Mate, so we just finished talking about the White Bay beer, and we're on to... Well, I found the Crafty Pint of Origin keg map. So this is where all the beers have come from, and that you can go and check them out. And the flight map of some of these beers is extensively long. I'm not a flat earther, but I reckon if you went from... And so this map will be in the episode notes. You can go and check it out. But I reckon if you flew the other way around the world, some of these...
I mean, they probably did, to be fair.
Yeah, they probably did.
The Earth's not flat, but a computer screen is,
mate.
mate.
Geography. All right, I'll tell you that for free.
Sure. Thank you.
There's a whole lot coming from the US and Canada. I've worked that out. That's where the border is because they're in green. Flip over. Orange, though, what does orange mean? Because there's no index on this map, right? There's green back over here in New Zealand, and it's also in Canada. So what does that mean?
That is weird.
Yeah, James, if you're listening, from Craft Pint, fix your map. It's confusing.
At least put a legend on it.
Put a legend on it, so that we know.
From what I could read, there was an America venue, which is Crafty Pint. Wow. Carwin, as always, is the American host.
Yep.
And then you've got another venue hosting the UK, and then obviously a bunch of states around Australia. I didn't actually read anything about Southeast Asia, although there looks to be some Japan.
There's definitely some Southeast Asia
and
on there.
Maybe some Vietnam.
Some Vietnam or China.
Maybe China, somewhere around there.
Yep.
But yeah, it is interesting because you've got Europe and Southeast Asia are the same colour.
Yep.
And then Canada and New Zealand, like you said.
Yeah. And I thought it might have been a latitude thing, but it's not. But then I wonder if the indication, like the purple, is all going to be served at one or two spots. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm assuming. Each colour is a Pint of Origin venue.
But there's no way to read your map.
But even if you assume that, why is the UK mixed in with Asia at one venue? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know.
In any case, it looks like there are some amazing beers from some amazing breweries that have never been in Australia, plus obviously some that have.
And we're going down to Melbourne on Thursday, and some of these bars, you aren't going to know what's hit you. Because I haven't been to Melbourne in years, and every other time I've been to Melbourne, it was actually, I can tell you when it was. It was before Stomping Ground was at the airport.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to the Irish pub that used to be at the airport and wait for my flight, sitting there drinking Guinness.
Nice.
So that was what I did. I used to go down to Melbourne, drive out to where I had to go, come back to the airport, hoping I could get an earlier flight. And because I was a gold member, so sometimes you can get an earlier flight.
Fancy.
I know, a little bit hoity-toity. That's like Hendo is now. But but that's just what you did. You just went and did your work, come back home. Because I didn't know where to go in Melbourne. And Melbourne, geographically, I'm shit at geography anyway. So I didn't know what to do. Even now, I'm scared to go down there and get on a tram and go somewhere wrong. Hendo's going, get this from the airport, and then when you get to the hotel, jump on the tram that's the 56 or the 87. The trams fucking scare me, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but you just got to download the app and you're right.
I've got the app.
Well,
I've got all of the things. I've got my MyKey card on my phone.
I don't think you even need a marquee card anymore. I think, or maybe that's not yet, but I think they're getting rid of them at some point.
I don't know.
I think you just tap your FPOS card.
Who knows? I've got one and I'm ready.
But anyway,
I've got my FPOS card if I need to. I'm ready.
I do know what you mean. I vaguely do know Melbourne. Like, I lived there for a few years when I was younger and a lot of family down there, and I still go, yeah, okay, you've told me a suburb. How far away is that?
Yep.
Really?
And I get it. Like, it'd be someone coming to Brisbane and going, how do I get to Geebung?
Yeah.
And, unless I go there frequently, I got no fucking idea.
Yeah, just
I know
driving.
generally where it is, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how to get there, like somewhere near Northgate.
Yeah, last week I ducked into the city from Flemington, which is not far on the map. Like, it's only a few suburbs.
Yeah.
Still 20 minutes in an Uber.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. I just remember the bridge driving into the city and that really awesome bridge with the archway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got no idea anywhere in Melbourne, so I'm really excited to get down there. Hendo said, I wonder how many bars Adzi can get kicked out of. I'm going to say none, because
it depends. Are you going for a record there? Or
no, I don't get kicked out of bars. I'm very hospitable. I work in hospitality. I know what it's like. And
probably could if you tried.
If I tried, I definitely could. No, actually, I get told by security a lot of the times to be quiet.
We know you're not drunk at all, but just be quiet.
Yeah, dude, can you stop being so loud? Like, you don't need to yell at the person standing right next to you. Oh, fair enough. I'm just excited. That's all it is, guys. Yeah, so anyway, I'm looking forward to Pint of Origin and getting down there, trying some beers and breweries that I haven't seen before. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Man, this next one, did you read this at all?
I did read this one, the reuse brew.
I seem to be coming up, so there's another one as well. I find all these cool articles with either a new way of brewing or a new something or a new grain, which is another one that's in here. But so this German beer, made from recycled wastewater.
Yeah, in Weissenberg, so South Germany. But they've partnered up with an American water technology company called Xylem, which is cool. I've got a lot of questions about the financial viability of this.
That was 100% something I wanted to talk about, the financial viability of it. Yeah.
And it's great. And I understand that people might be willing to spend more money in order to be sustainable, and that's great. But, like, I guess this is, I'm thinking, in the future, how long is it going to take for this technology to actually be cheap enough where we don't need...
Do you think it's a case, though, of the technology needing to be developed now so that when we get to the point where water is a scarce resource, that we need it, but whether or not they're going to let us make beer out of that water...
Yeah, true.
Or it's just going to be needed for water.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of wastewater. Like, you hear wastewater, you hear recycled water, and everyone... And the distinction is made in the article itself. Everyone thinks it's not paddock to plate, it's toilet to glass.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is at all, right? There's... like this paragraph that here is now. Machine injects ozone into the wastewater. The sludge is blasted by UV radiation and bombed with hydrogen peroxide pellets. Finally, it gets squeezed through various carbon and nanofilters. Now, that sounds expensive.
Yeah, it's not a cheap process.
There's a lot of processes going on.
Ozone for a start, which is, not cheap. And then UV radiation and bleach, relatively cheap. But then you've still got a whole bunch of stages of filtration after that.
Yeah.
And I think, it must be quite expensive, but
I
exciting.
think it's quite a good... Like, for me, it's really cool. I think it's really good, and I think it's something that we do because ultimately it's also not something that we might even need to deal with on this planet. It might be something that Elon ships over to Mars when he colonizates over there, right? Like, they're going to need water. Astronauts already do it. But for me, I'm like... I'm with you. I'm like, it sounds very expensive. What is... like in Germany, sure they're not short of water.
Yeah.
Is it something that we should be doing not to make beer with? Should it be something that we should be, if it's so easy and it makes it so well, should it be something that we're taking over to some places like, Africa, and that are dry continents that need water and sustainability and that filtration to have safe drinking water, and to use for growing crops and food to be able to make people just survive, let alone beer. You don't need. I know that beer is huge in Africa and places that are dry continents at the moment. Australia, we're predominantly a dry country.
Yeah.
California, I mean, Las Vegas is built in a fucking desert.
Yeah, that's not California, that's Nevada.
No, I know that. No, I know that as well. It's just another state. But what I'm saying is,
I know.
There's so many places that are screaming out for water.
I think the issue there is cost, right?
Is beer the best resource to use?
Well, I think, again, the issue there comes down to money, right? So it costs a lot of money to design and also run this technology. And, who has enough money to just donate that to a place like Africa? Because they're not going to pay for it.
No.
But I'm not saying, I think this is probably prohibitively expensive, and I don't think it's going to be a core range thing for this brewery. I think it's like a one-off. And I definitely don't think
it's just a proof of concept.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it was a bad move to do it, even though they may not have made much money. I think it's exciting, and it's actually bringing this new tech into the public eye a bit more, like we're talking about it now, right? And it'll be great to get to the point where in however many years this technology is commonplace and cheap and accessible, and we're able to basically recycle all our water.
Also, I mean, you hear the word sewage, and sewage in a lot of people's mind means your toilet. Well, it's where you shit and piss and blah blah blah. But a sewage is also like where all your wastewater goes. Yeah, goes to the sewage. Yeah. And does that need to be the case? If there's a wastewater treatment facility that you can fit that works for your brewery, that can treat all your wastewater, breweries are super resource hungry.
Yes.
On water,
especially water.
And if you can recycle what you've got coming through, that it can pull out all the contaminants and all the stuff while you're cleaning and you're washing down, all those sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the next stage. Even after our mains water starts becoming recycled water. Yep. It gets cheap enough that we have our own plants. Yeah. Which would be very cool.
Would you do it?
I mean,
would you be skeptical?
There's always
that the water would do you reckon it comes out like RO water?
No, not unless you put it through an RO plant. There's no reverse osmosis in this procedure. But I do have faith in the process to produce clean water. We already drink water where a portion of it comes from wastewater treatment plants. It's already happening.
Oh yeah, it already does.
It's not a big deal.
No, it goes out in the rivers and lakes and comes through, and every human in the world has had wastewater at some point.
Yeah. The only question I have in response to would you do it is how expensive is it? So happy to pay more in order to be sustainable and environmentally friendly, but there's always a limit, right?
Well, the process, this is the thing why I said RO, it says here the process removes 99.999% of all chemicals and contaminants. Yeah. And now you and I know that some salts and minerals, they're not contaminants, but some of those filters to get to that 99.999% are going to take out some of the good. I think for me it's going to be more closer to an RO water scenario than it is water out of your tap that you just...
Yeah, potentially. I know the carbon filters will definitely remove all the chlorine and chloramines, but then they've got nano filters as well, and potentially they do remove a bunch of the minerals. I hate it when people use the word chemicals, because water's a chemical.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We've all gone through school with a periodic table.
But anyway, potentially it does remove lots of the minerals as well, which, adds a little bit more cost back into it as well, because then you've got to supplement that with more salt and...
Yep.
But I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to have happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Mate, the next one is the University of Florida growing hops in a greenhouse.
Mm.
And like our old mate Andrew from Hilltop Hops.
Yep.
He'll love this. He messages me after every episode. Shout out, Andrew. How you doing, mate?
G'day.
G'day, mate. But I wonder, like, I get what they're doing. They're showing that it can grow hops in a greenhouse. I think we already knew that before, because I'm pretty sure about 4 or 5 years ago, Phillips did an experiment in a massive warehouse using their light tubes. Showed that you could grow hops using their light tubes, and that was for Phillips grow tubes, right? But you could grow them through, and you could get like 4 seasons of hops in a year. There wasn't like a winter. They didn't go dormant or anything. They just went through the whole time.
Yeah.
Why does Florida need to do this? Like, they're in the US. They've got access to so many of the greatest hops already. I know that they can do locals, but then even you read through the experiment and they're saying, oh yeah, maybe we can do some specialised hops and blah, blah, blah. But why? You're not going to have any terroir. You're not going to have any of the environmental impacts on the hops that give it some of those flavours, and the picking seasons. Like, it's turning it into a science rather than an agricultural thing. It might be good in some countries, I grant, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's always a mixture of science and uncontrollable agriculture, right? I think, they don't need to at this point. I don't think there's a lack of hops. I don't think they're trying to fill a void.
There's a bit of a glut this year.
But, but I think, just like the last topic, the recycled water, I think it's a proof of concept, which is really cool to see, because... what they're talking about is not just being able to grow hops, but the cones per plant that they're getting. And, who knows how achievable it is, but at the end of the article they say that they can see these greenhouses producing the same amount of flour per plant that is produced in the Yakima Valley, which is, top tier, right? So I think if we can come up with places like this, which can produce that much hop without being limited to certain geographical locations, that could be a big advantage in the future.
Well, I mean, there's carbon miles, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, I agree with that.
You still have the issue of patents on certain varieties. Like, you can't just grow Citra.
Oh, no, it's not allowed to just do that.
And also, like, I think it's a common misconception, right, that hops only grow in cold climates. Everyone says that to me. Like, you talk about wanting to grow hops
anywhere,
and they're like, "Oh no, it's not cold enough." I'm like, "Well, that is a factor." Like, they do talk about in this article how the greenhouse controls the temperature during the warmer months, and they keep it a bit cooler. It's definitely a factor, but the main one is light.
100%. 16 hours they need. Like,
Andrew and oh my goodness,
Stephen.
Yep.
They got grow lights.
Andrew and Stephen, exactly. They put in lights and they're managing 2 harvests a year, which is, already twice the number of natural
It's doubled their
harvest.
capacity, right?
So, I think this is cool to see another step where you're not only controlling the length of day, but also the temperature. And
it annoyed me in this article that whoever wrote it called them vines. And I read it and I'm like, oh, this was so close to being a cool article.
Lots of people do call them vines.
I know they do. I mean, well, what are you exposed to when you're younger? You're exposed to grapevines. Everyone says, oh, look at that vine, swing on that vine.
I think a lot of people hear vine and they're like, you're saying that funny.
That's a weird word. You got that wrong. This brewer's shit.
This guy can't even pronounce the V sound.
I agree with you. I think it's positive, but and proof of concept, but I'm still maintaining in Florida.
It's not required.
Surely. And look, it as you said, it's probably not for them, and it could be for any plant. vines and vines, very easy to grow, and it's a crop that is
Trees and shrubs.
well, they're both crops that are very quick to grow and provide
Yeah.
sustenance for humans. So if we're going to colonize another planet, I don't know why I'm going on this Mars bent.
Yeah. You're a big Elon fan all of a
I
sudden.
know.
That is the other thing they say as well. It was a very quick journey from planting to harvesting in this greenhouse.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
lots of years quicker than
Yep.
it normally would be.
Yeah.
And I also think like it's a good controlled environment for you to breed new varieties as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a
Yep.
potential good use for it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as a chili grower, like I know that's what it's like. Like you can get 2 flowers from a chili plant, and if you walk around with the pollen from one plant and put it all on the flowers of another, you get a different chili.
Yeah.
All of those chilies that come off that plant can be different.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in the States, and he has about 50 greenhouses in his backyard, and that's what he does. He separates them and has all those different growths, and it'd be the same with here. You're just working out what works best, and he's growing. I'm going off topic.
No,
Next topic.
Yeah. Sure. Next topic.
This is the regenerative grain.
Nailed it.
Kernza. Yeah, I got it.
Kernza.
My tongue's still a little bit swollen from my tongue ring. Kernza. So outdoor brand Patagonia. I only know of Patagonia because that's where Bear Grylls used to go for his survival series.
You haven't heard of Patagonia? It's like the North Face. It's a fashion brand.
Yeah, I know.
Like it. Yeah.
Do you know why it is that? Because he went to Patagonia.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why it's there.
All right.
That's why, because he went there and he showed that you can get lost there and do that stuff. It's an amazing thing. But the cool thing is, there's this new West Coast style lager called a Kernza lager that they've brewed with this new grain. It's a new Kernza grain. So, well, I don't know if it's new. It's probably old. But what excited me about this is, so we grow barley and wheat and all these other grains, and they're single year.
Yeah.
That you grow them once, they die, you harvest the grain, you need to reseed and plant your crop again.
Not only reseed, you need to treat the soil again as well.
100%.
Yeah.
And this Kernza is not that. It's a continual growth grain that just keeps growing. So it's regenerative. It actually holds a lot into the soil. It actually gives a lot back to the soil.
Yeah.
And for me, this sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Like, really cool. There's no photos of this grain, and you don't know what it looks like, so who cares? But that for me is interesting. I love this sort of stuff. I love that it's 2024, right? Like we're here. You look at TVs and phones and shit that we're able to do. We can fly to so many places all around the world, and here we are still able to find a grain.
Yeah.
That helps us make beer.
Yeah.
There's still people out there going, let's do this.
Still new discoveries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least new uses for things, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a bit about regenerative grains, and I sort of didn't really know what they were or how they were regenerating.
Yep.
Until you sent me the list for today's pod, and yeah, it is cool. Like they give back so much to the soil, improve the soil health, and add organic matter. They improve the structure of the soil, the water holding capacity. Like there's all this stuff that you would have to pour time and effort and money into.
And I think if you've got a company like Patagonia
Yeah.
behind you,
Yeah.
who, like, their main goal is the outdoors, right? They want to have people going into the outdoors and enjoying the outdoors, the wilderness, nature, and things like that.
Yeah.
So if they can stop people requiring more farmland,
True.
and to be able to have a grain that can just keep regenerating and going, then you don't need to keep increasing lots and putting whatever you need to make the soil better, and as you said, the water capacity and holding whatnot.
Yeah.
This is a great thing.
Yeah, it's a way of conserving actual natural bushland, forest, whatever else. Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed a lot of these things that they do. So the water one we talked about just before, and this one, it's always a lager. They're always brewing a lager. Do you reckon that's because there's not a lot to hide behind a lager? Or it's the one that just shows the malt the most? Or like, why are they always brewing a lager? Why aren't they like going, let's just give it a crack and IPA is the one we go with? Is it too expensive? Are they not talking about something? Or
Yeah, I think it's probably partly the fact that a lager is very clean and it shows things well. So, like,
it's the most popular beer.
if you want to try a beer where you can actually taste the flavour of this new grain,
Yep.
or, you want to try a beer where you can be confident that you're not tasting the flavour of sewage, a lager's a good start. But I think probably more than that, it's more just reach, I think, and trying to get it out there into people's hands. I think lager's probably still the most popular style around the world. And it's going to reach more people with the concept. I think that's probably the big thing.
Yeah, the beer looks good though, doesn't it?
It does. It looks lovely.
Yeah.
Nice and bright.
Yeah, really nice head on it, nice and dark. Yeah. Well, the link will be in the show notes, so you can go back and have a look at it and have a read. And maybe if you know something about Kernza that we don't,
Which is everything.
which is everything, which is this article. That's as much research as we've done. But if you know something about it, we'd love to know more. Especially Dan and I, because we do love these weird things.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mate, the next one. It's a bit of a fun one. The ultimate guide to beer abbreviations.
Ultimate's a strong word.
Yeah, there's only not many on
There's
there,
about
is
5
there?
or 6 in there.
Yeah. The first one, super important.
The first one's terrible, and I don't agree with it at
Oh,
all.
100% agree with it. ABV, Aussie Beer Voyage. That's what it stands for, isn't it?
Yeah, which is why I don't agree with it.
No. So ABV is alcohol by volume, and if you didn't know that, then you shouldn't be 18 and you shouldn't be going out anywhere.
Shouldn't be 18.
Man, there's a lot of people who shouldn't be 18, me included. What do you reckon's missing from this list that you would want to see included? So what do we got here? We got ABV, BBL, DDH, IBU, OG and FG, SRM.
Well, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they're all quite legitimate acronyms.
And you know what? I read them all. Like, I didn't include this article until I read them all and was like, oh, don't be some stupid thing where the author hasn't actually understood what it is.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the author actually has. They do understand what
100%.
it is.
Yeah.
What should be included?
Where's TDH and QDH and
CIP.
CRP?
Yeah. Shout out Brad Rallings.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty more that could be used and new ones that are coming out, which would have made this article a little bit more controversial and probably got a bit more engagement. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, the thing for me, like, one of the things that stood out to me is BBL.
Yep.
So that's predominantly a US term of measurement.
Yep.
Although we do measure, like, you could probably tell me how many barrels of beer you produce here up to date. That's because you've had to convert it, right?
Yeah.
Because you would know.
Yeah, barrel's about roughly 120 litres, roughly, I think. Yeah. Bit over a hectolitre.
Yep.
But it is interesting, right? Because I don't think barrel is used, even in America, I don't think barrel is used to measure much else, except maybe oil.
Yeah, it's only...
It's not a normal measurement. It's normally just like gallons, fluid ounces, gallons.
I don't know, man. The US measurements are... How long is a white sock?
Yeah.
You know?
1 gallon long.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all pretty standard.
I just thought it was a pretty good article in that, we do use a lot of acronyms because there are a lot of acronyms in here. Like, I mean, what was the brewery that released the double dry hopped oat cream IPA? Like, it was a DDHOC IPA.
Oh, it's been worse than that.
And it looked like the Roman numerals on the can.
Didn't All In do like a quintuple dry hop
something
hazy
crazy,
New England something?
Yeah, the any IPA.
Yeah, there's so many more. The one that is a little bit interesting in here is DDH.
Yep.
We can get on Hendo's high horse here if you want.
Let's jump on it. He doesn't listen to the podcast, so fuck it.
Yeah. You double dry hopping. What does that mean? What do you do when you double dry hop?
Well, technically,
Yeah.
You open it twice, right? You open up your fermentator twice.
Double the amount or the same amount split in two?
And see, that's the thing, isn't it, right? Because even, like, let's go further. Let's jump back to the IPA. You've got the double IPA and the triple IPA.
Yeah.
So if you've got a dipper or if you've got a tripper, is it
You're
double? A tripper. Hey, mate, there you go. Yeah, good, mate. Oh, you're already
mate,
interrupting,
get
mate. It's
in here.
recording. Oh, we're good, we're good.
How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. How you doing, mate?
Nice to see you.
You too, mate.
How's the podcast going?
Yeah, good. Yeah, people are listening. Well, I
that's
assume
great.
they are. We're an
Excellent.
hour in, so they might not be anymore.
It's been a long episode, actually.
yeah.
I know. It looks like I might need to pour you both a beer.
Yeah, I think you might.
We're almost done. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, we got 2 to go. We got 2 to go.
Feel free to pour yourself one, though, if you want.
Yeah, so like the dipper and tripper. So, oh no, I'm going to leave that in.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, fucking oath. Like the dipper, who was saying to me, I think it was Luke, used to work with Air Ballistic. Shout out, mate. He used to say, oh no, dipper needs to be double the alcohol of an IPA. So if you go 6% as an IPA,
Dipper should be
you need
12.
12%. And if you want a triple IPA, it should be 18. And I'm like,
Yeah, right.
"Oof,
Shit.
that's a big beer.
I don't think it needs to be that...
I don't think it needs to be that linear either, because you can't say an IPA is at this level and then you move forward.
Nah. Well, I mean, some of that stuff's in the guidelines as well, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
A dipper should be at least 8, and I think anything over 10 can qualify as a tipper, even though that's not in the guidelines.
Yep.
But, like, is it dipper or is it EPA? You know, is it
yeah.
a double IPA or an imperial IPA?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you put a D there, or do you just put 2 I's?
Well, that's it. Yeah, you got your rears and you got
Yeah.
yeah.
There's plenty of
BA
interesting.
Imperial Stout and yeah.
I think you guys should. I'm just going out on a limb here and becoming the main host for a minute, but tell
go
us
for
if
it.
you've got any acronyms that you think are weird or you don't agree with, or
Oh yeah.
even weird ones that you do agree with.
Yeah, what have you heard or what have you
Yeah.
seen that should be included as a regular abbreviation?
There's plenty out there.
That'd be cool.
Mm.
I'm all for them too.
Yeah,
LOL.
it's just BRB.
ASL. I'm too old. Spent too much time on MSN.
ASL or AOL. Yeah. I think that they are good and I love them, but also we need to make sure we're being accessible to the general public who may not have tried craft beer before as well.
Yeah,
I
then
try
the
to put India
explanation
Pale
needs to
Ale
be
on
there.
things,
Yeah.
you know, and then people go, "How is it Indian?" And I'm like, "Well,
Oh shit! All right.
but you know what I mean."
Yeah. Mate, this next one that I threw in here. So I didn't realise that Iron Maiden, the heavy metal rock band, actually release a beer annually with his brewery, Robinson's. I had no idea that this existed, and I was stoked when I found it. I actually went back and looked at all their previous releases as well. Super cool. This one, it's a lighter ABV pale ale that they've got, and it's called Trooper. It's only a 3.4% ABV beer. Nothing to do with the beer from last year, which is their 10% ABV beer.
10% pale ale.
Yeah. But for me, it was more really cool the fact that there's this insane rock band that has been around for how long?
Yeah.
You know?
What? 50 years?
Yeah, playing all these places, probably
Maybe not 50.
tasted beer from so many places, and they're partnered with this brewery and doing their 4.5% flagship Trooper Ale, which they launched 11 years ago. So now they're up to their 11th beer and on there going. Like, for me, I was quite excited about it. Like, you read the article,
Yeah.
the band is heavily involved. Like, the lead
Yeah.
singer and they're all involved. Like, that's the beer that they're on. This is not something they muck around with.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see it being a money spinner for them, right? Like, how much?
This is just purely
Yeah. How much money does
enjoyment,
a brewery make on a batch of beer to begin with, let alone when they have to split the profits with the band.
Yep.
It's definitely not going to be a money spinner, but
No.
they're doing it for the love of it, and
Yep.
also obviously to get their name out there and all the rest of that.
Yeah. And I think too, it's just one of those passion projects.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah,
They
it.
love the beer, and they love seeing. And every year, I reckon the band looks forward to it every year. I reckon they're there going,
Yeah.
I'm loving this beer.
Yeah, they're in a unique position where they can just go to a brewery and go, we want to brew a beer with you, and the
Yep.
brewery's going to be like, hell yeah,
Oh yeah, we will.
we'll put your name on it.
If
Yeah.
a rock band came to you and said, "This is what we want to do," like, how would you play it? Would you play it like a long game? Would you like, oh, let's do a series, like blah blah blah, and hope that they stick it out, or would you say that we're going to do a one-off, or what's your sort of?
Yeah, good question.
How do
I
you
don't
play
know.
that?
I think at this point in the journey of Harker, I'd be happy for a one-off. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it would always be cool to continue. I think it's, in some ways, it's nice just to not have expectations and just hopefully brew a good beer with them, and then they might want to come back and do another one.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other bands that do this, like Deftones do a beer most years with Belching Beaver. Bit
Oh yeah,
less
these
popular
guys are
than
definitely not the only
Iron Maiden.
ones.
And there's a whole bunch of bands doing like their own gins and vodkas and beers and
Yes.
stuff like that. And
Yep.
I think, yeah, for the most part, it's got to be a marketing exercise rather than a moneymaker. But
Yeah. Yep.
it is very cool that someone as big as Iron Maiden that doesn't need the marketing
Oh, yeah.
loves
loves
beer
beer.
and wants to be involved.
I'd love to sit down and have a beer with someone like that. Like,
Yeah.
drink their beer and not only just talk to them about beer, but just talk to them about touring life and what it's like. And because I would love to, I just think there's some unique stories there that people don't get. Like, you never get access to.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be cool.
100%.
And one of the last ones, so this was a US, so these are 2 US maps that I found in the one article from VinePair. So it's the US states with the most craft breweries, but then you can keep scrolling down, and it's also got the US states with the most craft breweries per capita. So if you cross, what I found interesting about this is the thing that I enjoyed about this is that you can see the 2 maps quite easily. The only state that crosses over on both of the most, which is in red, is Colorado, which doesn't surprise me, really. It's in the middle of the country. It's got population going for it as well as craft breweries. But then outside of that, the states that have the most craft breweries don't have the biggest population, which to me means those states can support more breweries. Is that?
Yeah.
Do you sort of see that as a reasoning? Like,
Yeah, I guess
am I
it's-
wrong in seeing that, or?
No, I think that's a fair call. Like, yeah, there's lots of states that are up there in the number of craft breweries overall, but way down on the per capita number. Which
Where would you not go?
Could potentially. Where would I not go? Probably Mississippi.
Yep.
Mississippi is the state with the least craft breweries per capita. And it's also the second last state in terms of number of breweries overall. So
yeah.
unless you want to see alligators,
You're going to be hunting around looking for beer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is interesting you say that. Like Colorado's number 4 in terms of the number of craft breweries overall, and then number 5 per capita as well, which is pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a fair call. Like, if you're way down on the per capita, then you've obviously got room to grow. But as always, it depends on the demographic and the culture and all of that. And that
those people
varies
might not
widely.
want beer.
Yeah.
You know, you could say, oh yeah, per capita, there might be a huge population, but they just might not want to drink your beer.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It might be too expensive. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Funnily enough, Alaska sneaks into the top 5 for breweries per capita.
I love that.
I don't think they've included Huskies, but that's all right.
I've been to Alaska.
Have you?
Yeah, I have.
I'd love to.
Yeah, Alaska's great. I would go back in a heartbeat, beer or not.
Yeah,
I saw bears. not
Did
beers.
you? Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, but I'd go back in Alaska in a heartbeat. It's, but they've got some funny drinking rules
Have they?
and
Okay.
laws in Alaska. Yeah, there's some of the liquor laws in Alaska are quite tight,
Yeah.
and I think makes it a little bit difficult. for
Anything
some-
under 10% has to be drunk indoors so it doesn't freeze.
Yeah, no, but no, not even. Some of them you can't even sell them more than 2 pints
Mm.
in a drinking session.
Yeah, right.
And there's only so much limited takeaways that they can have to take away.
Yeah, okay.
So there's some really crazy laws
Yeah.
in Alaska in regards to craft beer. Well, not just beer, just drinks.
Yeah.
If
Alcohol in
you're a
general.
bar, yeah.
Sure.
So, mate, last one. Phil, in Europe, he's been
Yeah.
away. What? Man, it's his second week.
Yeah.
Third week.
2 and a bit, third week.
Yeah. He's coming back. When does he come back?
I actually don't know exactly. I think it's either Friday or Saturday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
But obviously, like, he leaves one day and arrives another day.
Yeah, when's he on the roster for you? Yeah.
Mate, I'm not sure. I kind of have assumed I'm doing the weekend because
Yep.
even if Phil does get back on Friday,
He's going to be
I think
exhausted.
it's going to be a bit jet
Yeah.
lagged and
Make Joe work.
yeah, well,
She's a big beer aficionado,
She'll be
apparently.
right.
Yeah.
She knows what a doppelbock looks like.
That 100%.
So-
I was quite stoked to see that. But, yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Joe, over in I don't know where they were.
I think they are in Denmark. They're at Mikkeller Brew Pub.
Yeah. So Joe ordered a Doppelbock and got this beer, and she was like, "I don't think this is a Doppelbock,"
Yeah.
and took it back to the bar and got herself a free beer
How
because
good.
it wasn't a Doppelbock. So, as Hendo said on the post, on Phil's post, this is a game of life thing to do. Come into Hiker, ask for a Doppelbock,
Life hack.
get one, and take it back and get your money back. And drink the beer.
Completely unrelated. I've just decided to add a doppelbock to our core range.
Oh, I love a Doppelbock.
Mm.
Yeah. It's any beer that the bartender pulls, right?
Yeah.
You can almost do a half-half with your Ornith and
You could almost do that. Yeah.
your
Yeah.
wee little, and you get a Doppelbock.
Very hoppy doppelbock.
Oh, yeah,
A
be right.
doppel hop.
Yeah, I'd be up for it.
Maybe we should try it after this.
I think we should. Let's go and have one. Well, mate, no, thanks very much for stepping in while Phil's been away. And that doesn't mean that you don't need to step in anytime. You feel free to jump in while any of us are talking. I don't care who comes along and chats to me.
Mate, as long as I'm not on video, I'm happy.
Yeah. Listen back one day. You need to send
I don't want to do
have a
that.
listen to the recording while you're driving home, mate.
No, I'm okay. Thank you, though.
That's good, mate. You're not that terrible on the musician. On the audio.
On the musicians.
On the musician. No, you
Indeed.
probably are terrible on the musician. Oh dear. All right. Well, that's been us. It's an hour 13. So yeah, we need to get out of here. So cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, thank you. If you're still here, then I'm impressed.
Yeah,
well done.
100%.
You've got a long drive to work.
Stay listening, and you'll hear the pour it out jingles that I've created on the Suno AI app. So yeah, that's pretty fun. All right. Pour it out. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Like a brewing. I always got to say take a hike.
Take a hike.
I have to do
Pretend
that.
I'm Phil. Hashtag. Is it a hash or a hashtag?
It's gonna fade out.
Oh, we're done. Are we still talking over the top of the pour it out?
No, yeah, no.
Jingle?
The music's gone.
Okay.
Pour it out, listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. It's Pour It Out. See with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, or Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. Hiker Brewing is where we chat, 'cause it's where good beers are at. So pour it out and listen as we chat beers with the grin. Pour it out, pour it out, pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. It's Pour It Out. Pour it out. Pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Pour it out. Pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Atsy with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, or Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. PIO Brewing is where we chat, because it's where good beers are at. So pour it out and listen in as we chat beers with a grin. Pour it out, listen in as we chat beers with a grin. With a grin, pour this beer to figure out. It's Pour It Out. Pour it out when you're out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Atsy with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. PIO Brewing is where we chat, because it's where good beers are at. So pour it out and listen in as we chat beers with a grin. Pour it out when you're out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Atsy with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, or Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. PIO Brewing is where we chat, because it's where good beers are at. So pour it out and listen in as we chat beers with a grin. Pour it out, pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Pour it out, pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Listen to the best audio podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. Atsy with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, and Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. PIO Brewing is where we chat, because it's where good beers are at. So pour it out and listen in as we chat beers with a grin. Pour it out. Pour it out, pour it out. Listen to the best audio beer podcast when you're out and about. It's Pour It Out. It's Pour It Out. Atsy with the mic and chatting news on all things beer. Joined by Phil, Dan, and Matt, or anyone else to join the cheer. PIO Brewing is where we chat, because it's where